you? Uh-uh. Why I don't see you? All right, family. This is Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. What's up, family? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Somebody told me to post love versus lust, right? Do you understand the difference? Love versus lust. Do you understand the difference? Common sense, you starting some trouble. Common sense, starting some trouble. Common sense, starting some trouble. What's up, Jay? Common sense, starting some trouble. Common sense, starting some trouble. Common sense, starting some trouble. What's up, Jay?
How you doing?
Ain't nothing much. Ain't nothing much. Just coming on to have fun. You see the prompt somebody sent me? Lust versus love. I tried to bring it in a little smaller. I couldn't get it. I was trying to see how I can, just make it a little smaller up there for the questions that is, well, it's explaining the difference between love and lust. So we'll see how they work out. But anyway, how was your day?
My day was pretty good.
Good, good, good. Yeah, I was over here relaxing. Had some phone calls. Then I said, I'm gonna go ahead and shut my eyes a little bit. Then I realized you can't do it. You gotta get ready to go on here. You can't. Yeah, but other than that, looking forward, looking forward. I was um I was gonna chill because it's like Mondays, Wednesday, Fridays that we come on and Saturdays at 6. But if I felt like it, like on Tuesdays, Thursdays, wanting to just come on, I figured I might just come on. But all depends where I'm at, what's going on those other days.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes do you ever like when you got things to do? Do your body like uh get to that point it just don't feel like doing anything?
Most definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Cause it's times where I really had to push myself. Then there's days where I'm gun ho, and I'm like, man, I need to ask somebody else this. Cause certain things we don't talk about. What's up to Sean? Certain things we just don't, as people in the ministry, we kind of act like we don't get taught or we don't go through certain things. I'm like, I need to hear some real stuff sometimes, you know. where we fight against the flesh, which I know that's normal, you know, where the flesh and the spirit is at war with each other. What's up, Max?
One of my one of the pastors I deal with.
Hey Jay, I was talking. You cut me off.
Hey, wait a minute. We can't do that up here. We can't do that. Come on. I don't know who that was. I was trying to be nice. Come on, Jay.
Yeah, one of the pastors I work with down out in Dallas, he used to always tell me, he said, Jay, now I want you to slow down, because if you don't slow down, your body gonna tell you to slow down. And when your body telling you to slow down, by then it's too late.
That's no lie. Cause I was talking about how God shut me down, man. He shut me down. When I got operated on my feet in August, I think that was his way of shutting me down for a while. And the people at the hospital was like, well, the doctor was like, well, you have to take 6 to 8 weeks off, get yourself healed, and you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I can't do that. I gotta go down the building. I gotta blah, 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 blah. Man, I ain't even gonna say I don't know how he did it, Jay, but he did it. I'm telling you, I was shocked because I could not see myself just laying back and doing nothing. But he shut me down, you know. And what's popping in my head too, Jay, as I say that, he's a jealous God. He's a jealous God. And what I mean when I say that, when he wants you to himself, you get me? Woo!
The thing is, there's a lot of things. You know, one of the biggest lies that people tell themselves, they'll tell each other, I never saw this coming. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You know, if you want to sit there and ignore the signs, by all means, you can tell me that, but don't you sit there and lie to me and say you didn't see it coming.
You know, which I don't want to go too deep, but some people I was dealing with, subleasing from, right? Everything was going fine, but they started putting their mouths into my business. Then on top of that, some people that I really, really trusted, I've been knowing for a while, it's like they turned against me. I had to let them go. But I seen it. It was like something went boom. I was like, oh my God. He shut it down. He shut it down. And it was a lesson learned for me, right? Because he wanted me to see the people for who they were. And mainly the ones that I really trusted, man. But I seen that door close, Jay. I was like, uh-oh. He got some bigger, better things coming. I'm telling you, because anytime, that's why today, Jay, I try not to, when I recognize I'm going through trials and tribulations, I try to just go through it gracefully. Because I know anytime he takes me to a certain point, and I'm looking at the spiritual elevation, right? Anytime he take me to a certain point, he allows certain things to happen to move me to the next level. And I'll be like, okay, I know it's something amazing. I know blah, blah, and it never fails. It never fails. So I'm learning, man, through this process, then with the business and everything, you know, it's just to stay focused on his will. You know what I mean? Just to stay focused. And people will come and try to distract you. And I try not to let it, if it's not lined up with what he put here, even if you're a step further and you come, as long as we line, let's go, you know. But if you just coming in and I'll tell people for us to come together really to build this big corporation with just blacks, real simple. And you just bring your piece. It's like a puzzle. And he started showing me. He started showing that each one of us have a piece to the puzzle. So you come, I don't want you change like your business or what you doing to fit me. No, you keep doing what you're doing, but we adding on to support and help each other because it's all about his people. You already know that. But you come in with different motives, and I spot that, you gone. Not being smart, it's like, yup, that's all right, you go. So I try to stand firm, man, for what he called me to do. To Sean, come on, I hear you. Somebody texted me on my broadcast network. No, I'm just reading the text. Come on.
And you know that type of spirit that is coming to destroy, it's a big spirit, and you can't miss it.
Yeah.
Because it's there, and when that person is doing those things, they're showing you who they are and what they are. The question is do you believe it?
Man, I was so disappointed. And the two people, the one deep into, I don't think he was a pastor or nothing, but he deep into the ministry, stuff like that, right? And he hung in there with me when I was shut down 2 years ago and everything. I don't introduce my kids to everybody, but he ended up meeting my kids and told my kids he had my back. And believe me, to me, Jay, he had my back. But through this process, when I got off the home monitor, was able to go down to the building and everything and just run everything personally, be there. And he's a master contractor. So I just knew we was going to do some great things. Mainly started rehabbing and revitalizing houses, right? But anyway, once again, I got a little sick and I couldn't go down there as much as I wanted to. And Tashawn and them took over everything basically for me, right? But this brother was trying to steal my business under my belt, bro. He was trying to overthrow it, him and another guy. And when I found out, I got that phone call what they was down there doing, and I called the board meeting. I was hurt, man. I had to let him go. And he called me New Year's, right, to tell me Happy New Year's. I said, I ain't talking to you. And I hung up on him and told him I didn't like what he did. But matter of fact, God just revealed it to me. God revealed it, man. And what I started understanding with a lot of that, Pastor Jay, people in your life for a season and a time. You know what I mean? And it could be a long time, but some is just there to teach you a lesson. Because as you go into your next journey or that next step in life, you know what to watch out for here. And that's what I started learning in the process of business-wise, stuff like that too. You learn from your mistakes. Because when you're dealing with business, you have some people whose hearts and minds is truly there. And you have some people who come in to take and rob and steal. You know what I mean? What they can get. And see, that's the thing that gets me. Yeah, that's the thing that gets me. Once God reveal you for who you is, and then the sad part about it, I might think you're a cool person because something great about you, but he'll reveal certain things to me, and I'll be like, God dang it, I gotta let them go. I gotta let them go, Jay. And it's like, and mainly, like I told my business partner, another real church going man. I told him, I said, man, I do not want to fail God, mainly because I speak out a lot about things. So you don't want to make, I'm going to say, the ministry or the body look bad. You get me? And I'm one of the ones, I say my mouth is the biggest weapon for the body of Christ. Somebody sent me that, Pastor Jay, spiritual warrior. Because I couldn't understand why I would get loud like I do and go. But and it's not to hurt nobody, it was to get the point across. And somebody sent me something saying spiritual warrior. and I look it up. If that thing didn't describe me, I'm like, oh my God. Because, you know, I realize I'm not your average, how can I put it? Based around religion or holier than thou or too heavily bound. And I thought, to be honest, I thought something was wrong with me. But once you realize and understand the gifts of the Spirit, you get me? And I started understanding, Steve, your mission is not like certain other people. I'm gonna say mainly our pastors behind the pulpit. I'm gonna put it like that, because your journey is street. So you dealing with a lot of the roughnecks. Not to say our pastors or people like you don't do it. Not to say that, but y'all got a job to do, and that's what God started showing me as an ordained deacon. We basically represent y'all, you know, so y'all can carry the word. We in the street doing the street stuff for y'all. I'm like, okay. so so understanding your role and your purpose, right? And knowing, and I'm gonna just say for myself, my bishop is Dr. Jerome Stokes, right? And we represent the church itself, the pastor. Well, we represent Christ first. Christ, then the man of God, you know, because he's the leader. That's who we represent, right? First Christ, then the bishop. So one of the elders at our church that was teaching us during that time, he said, when you go out and you act like a fool, don't tell nobody what church you go to. I was like, oops, you right. So in a joking way, because I love having fun. I love having fun. If you know me, I love the kid. I love the joke. I love the play. And it's times when it comes to the word, I'm serious as all outdoors, you know. But I try to put a sense of humor there with it, you know. And I just learned throughout the years, you know, just enjoy your walk, Steve. Enjoy your walk. Don't make your life miserable. God already created you. He put everything in you that he called you to go out and do. And the point is just remaining obedient to the calling, you know. And that's where I'm at. And I love it. Hugh, what's up, Hugh?
Nothing's going on. Nothing but the red in the sky. That's about it. I'm chilling.
He said nothing but the rent in the sky.
Right.
I ain't heard that in a long time. Nothing but the rent. Nothing but the rent. Well, we already know the sky. You know,
right, and taxes.
Yeah. Dang, I'm gonna have to find somebody to do mine.
Right.
I try to do it every year on my own, but then it's too much. I mean, I can do the ones like with my cards and stuff like that. So I said I got to give everything to the tax person and stop playing around.
I would definitely go to H&R Block, or you can do TurboTax.
Well, it's a guy at my church that actually worked with me on my taxes. It's just for the last 2 years because I was down. It's just putting everything back together for him. So all of my stuff before I was arrested, real simple. All my stuff, all my paperwork and everything. When they raided my niece's house, talking about they was looking for Gucci glasses and some checkbooks from somebody that was homeless, but that was that detective that set that bull crap up. But anyway, they threw away all of my stuff, all my clothes, my paperwork, my receipts, because I had a cabinet in my at my house as well. And my niece said, Uncle Steve, they tore your room up the worst. So anyway, all of that stuff, I got to sit back down and draw everything back up again. So it's just really doing it because I've been focusing on mainly just trying to get everything going, keeping up with everything in order with the business and stuff like this, where actually it's like, all right, Steve, you know what you gotta do. It's just really just doing it. It's just doing it. I be doing everything else. And on them days where I can rest and don't have to worry too much about nothing, I'll take that time out. Deshaun, ain't nobody paying no attention to you 50 days till spring and the sky's the limit. Cause she heard you say the rent, the sky's the limit. The sky. Deshaun, you know you better not go over there messing with cuckoo. You know you better not. She probably trying to get you to come and talk with her so she can find out what's going on with us. Don't fall for the okie doke.
Oh, we talking about that lady?
Yeah, I'm talking about the one who I was working the building with. No, not her. No, I'm talking on my restream too.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I've been trying to play with it to see how I can send them invites to come up on this screen over here. But yeah, I talked with her. It was her family, but like I told her, that's not how I do business. You don't do that. You got me over here, and it's like you introducing me to your family. Like what we was talking about. But I told her, I said, you need to focus on really getting yourself together with you and your significant other. You trying to come for me.
Right. I didn't want to say nothing.
I mean, what's up, Conti? I'm not trying over here. I'm not trying to be talking with nobody like that. And I try not to be nasty, you know what I mean? But I ain't trying to, come on. You living in another city. I'm in Baltimore. If you're not in Baltimore where I can see you, touch you, and stuff like that, to me, you ain't got nothing coming. You ain't got nothing coming. I don't even let my mind go that far. When I did playing with that other crazy lady,
right.
I told her, I sent her something last night. She gonna tell me I'm mean and I'm nasty. I'm like, woman, don't you ever. No. See, certain people, they want to try to dominate you and fix you and mold you and shape you. And I'm like, what can you do for me? Not being smart. Come on, I'm 60. I'll be 64. If my life ain't together by now, it would never be together. And that's how I look at it. I'm in granddaddy mode. So my thing is, what is you gonna mold and shape here? If I feel like I want to put some dye in my beard, I'm gonna put some dye in my beard, whether you like it or not. But when I do, I might be in trouble. Cause I put some dye in my beard, then I think I'm young again.
What you saying? Ain't nothing wrong with you saying, bro.
Look, Conti, I'm laughing, right? Cause Deshaun put over there on my other screen. She want my milk and cookies.
Oh my goodness.
But Deshaun talking about Miss Deborah. That was the lady I was doing the business with, and she wanted my milk and cookies too.
Oh man, what type of cookies do you have? Are they oatmeal, chocolate chip? Like
the girl, I don't know.
You gotta let those ladies know at least.
I was wondering. I ain't lying. Conti, I was sitting up here saying to myself, now I know I'm a handsome dude now. I know that, but god darn, I don't know why these women think they got something coming over here. I was wondering myself. I was like, wait a minute. They want to eat me up.
Right.
We over here trying to have fun, Conti, laugh and kid and joke, and people over there lusting. I said lusting. They over there lusting and boxing me now. I don't mind playing the kid and joking with you, but after a while, it's like, I ain't flying all over the world to try to meet up with nobody. If I can't touch you right then and there, nope. And I be trying not to say nothing to hurt nobody's feelings. Cause I try to be real careful to let them know I don't date women my age.
I got nothing to say no more. But I mean, what if you have the privilege of meeting somebody in Germany and you don't have time for that, but she could be your woman?
No, she can't.
Why?
Not in Germany. I ain't even gonna look.
What about another state?
No, that's what he's saying.
You
Nope.
gotta be close.
Nope. No. 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 No.
Well, I mean that's just right. I mean that's just preference.
Yeah.
I mean that's like some girls they only date tall guys. So I mean,
DC is too far for me, and that's just right across the street.
I ain't saying anything.
Nope. I want her to be right there where I can touch her, where I can hold her, where I can smell her, where I can taste her. She too damn far away from me. I'm like, nope, nope, nope,
yeah, she gotta walk to his house.
nope. She ain't.
He's very picky.
I am. And I have to watch it here because and Conti, I kind of they racist against me because I say I don't date women my age and I don't date women over 200 pounds. Why? You big? No, I'm not. I used to be, but I date. I mean, back then during the days, I did what I did. But as I begin to get older, nope. It was one big girl that I messed with. I was about 19. She was like 250 pounds. I went to put her in the buck, and her legs couldn't go back. Turned me completely off. I might have to go to therapy.
Right.
And then Canty, when I hear women now today in their 50s and close to 60 come talking about, yeah, because I don't like my legs back. Don't put me in no pretzel. I'll be like, oh shit, you out the scene now. You done just screwed up.
Disqualified yourself.
Yup. But I'm gonna tell you though, I've been seeing some beautiful AARP member. I said member clubs. I didn't see some beautiful AARP members. I'm like, hey. But no, and I'm gonna tell you that other one is going through menopause. You know who that is, Hugh?
Yeah. The warlocks, right?
Yeah.
3,000 warlocks.
Yeah.
Maybe a vampire warlock.
I said to myself, wait a minute. I might have to date them 40 to 50. When they get ready to go through menopause, I got to cash them in and find somebody else. 40 to 50. I'm like, this is what I'm going to have to deal with somebody like 51, 52 going through menopause. And I don't know if this one going through menopause too, but I know something ain't right. I'm like,
Do you think she'll be back? Well, she was, right?
which one?
Yesterday.
Which
The
one?
warlock with all little vampire.
Yeah, she'll be back. I texted her last night and I told her don't do that. Don't be like, it seemed like every time we say something, mainly me, I say something, it's more like you critique what I'm saying. Don't do that. And then she come talking about, because I always tell the truth. I said, well, you ain't tell the truth about you was a drunk. I asked you, was you drinking and all that type of stuff. You gonna tell me no. And then on top of that, you done changed your name so many times, you can't even use your real name. So you're a fake phony. I had to catch myself.
Right, no, she's so nice.
Yeah.
She
First,
came after me because she thought I was like, I don't know what she thought was going on. I'm like, no, ma'am, don't do it. If she gets up here, she's gonna go after you too, Candy. I wanted to see her and Kimberly throw down, to be honest with you. I was kind of waiting.
It's, you know what, I'm at my max with people on my TikTok now, so people have a hard time trying to send me a message. So, but yeah, I'm if you can see my comments, yes.
I seen you. The box you had up was kind of funny. I forgot what it's called, but I didn't see you like this with your 8 boxes to the side. I seen you. It was like you was waiting for some people to come on.
And you know, on TikTok, you know this dark background. You can put another background. It doesn't have to be pitch black. I was thinking maybe you could put Baltimore City or something. Yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff.
So how many Candy? How many followers do you have on your TikTok?
Ooh, Candy or
Yeah, Candy. I'm sorry, Conti, Candy.
Yeah, I'm up to 1,000.
Okay, because normally I was just sliding this to the side so y'all can read it a little bit. Normally, basically, once you come up, you know, you got to sit on it for a little bit unless you're letting people know that you're going to be up. And that's with me now. It's just trying to be more consistent, you know, again, with my Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, you know, time frame. But that's why, be honest, I wasn't going to come up today until Common Sense sent me something to say the topic, we should make the topic for the day like lust and love and lust. And she was basically everything that Hugh put together right there. She was talking about herself, about the 7 different signs in them, somewhere along that line. But it was like Hugh just went on and put them in, which was nice right there, because you know of you really understanding the difference. I thought that was awesome when I seen it. I was like, hey.
I made a new one. If you want to test that out, I made a new one, but we don't have to this session.
I did the one that's blue. Yeah, I did that. I was putting that up first, but it was too wide. So I called myself trying to make it smaller, but since I couldn't make it smaller, this was showing a lot better. So I said, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this up, because at least you can read some of them a little bit once I'm out the way.
Okay, I'll put that in my notes. I'll make sure to like this up.
Yeah, because see what I do, I screenshot it, then I go over to my photo part, and I'll go ahead and just square it out and put it in with the photos. That way, when I come on, I can just click it. So, but I was trying to see how I can adjust it. I went into my settings before I came over to see how I might can adjust it, make it a little bit smaller. And I know it's probably an adjustment button right there. It's just that I'm not real good with all that. Not yet.
Okay.
Yep.
And Conti asks, can lust turn into love? I think so. Like, you can feel lustful, and then, you know, you date and things like that. As long as you hold off and you don't immediately dive into her like that, like into a pool of her, you know, of her body, right. Then I think you can turn it to love, because you have to build it before the intimacy, if that makes sense. If you just go in there, you do the deed, then you kind of get that dopamine hit, and you just move on to the next.
And I feel like this, normally, Conti, when we first meet somebody and we find them desirable, I think that's the lust. And once it's like that infatuation, right? It's like once it wears off, you realize, nah, that's not the one. Because I'm gonna tell you, I done had it happen a few times where you know, almost had a couple of wives on here, and sound real good till they start talking about pushing my car seat up and burning my eggs, and I'm like, oh Lord, you should never tell me nothing like that. You gone.
What's that sound? Is that your TV stick?
Yeah, that's the TV. I tried to turn it down some. Is it real loud?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna turn it down. Yeah, because I had turned it down some before I came on, but I wanted it to play a little bit.
I was thinking about hiring somebody to provide for my needs. What do you think I should do about that?
Wait, what? You mean like a solicitation?
That's what that's basically what he's saying.
I wouldn't do it because that's. I mean, you could work on your skills of game, what the men call it your game, right? You could get it for free. I mean, there's a lot of people just giving it out. I don't really get paid for it because then you can get a Jack's Pizza instead. You know, like you don't gotta do all that. And it's kind of weird, and I think you'll probably feel like you're a loser. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not calling you that, but you might feel like that afterwards.
No, it's a good feeling. When you know you can dazzle wazzle and woo woo whoever you want one. It is, cause y'all hear me say and Conti, I know you know. When I say I'm a retired sugar daddy.
But that's not the same thing. He's talking about like going to meet and just for the night.
Yeah.
No, that's the same. No, that's the same thing. I'm a retired 304.
Wow. And isn't there levels to it?
Hey, look, Conti. Not when you want it. Not when you. Now, some of them, like what you were saying with Conti, right? Some you don't really have to wine and dine to get what you want, and some you want to wine and dine because you want to treat them nice. But the thing is, you only want the wang. And I had to. I know you got me. And what I had to do, hey, gorgeous, I had to realize, right? Be honest, I'm kind of looking at Conti now. I was spending too much goddamn money. And it was getting to the point, it's like, well, you can get it free from here, you can get it free from there. And that helped me save money. But certain ones...
True. Like it's like a tax plan. Right. Because you don't want to spend too much and you don't want to spend too much and you can't automate deduct it, right? Right. I get you.
Tashawn said a retired pimp.
Oh my God.
Shut up, Tashawn. You just mad because you can't have my body. That's all.
Well, we know.
Now I always look. I always pick with Tashawn. That's my that's one of my board members and my team worker, right? But we've been friends for the longest goddamn time. She been with me since my no one person go hungry days, Candy. And Tashawn one of them ones. She don't play when it comes to the women in the program. She do not play. And Phyllis don't either. Phyllis, they don't play. But she over here texting stuff, right? Talking about she now Tashawn goes both ways. I know she don't mind me sharing this. She got a woman and she want me as her man, but I'm not giving her my body. What you got smart to say, Tashawn? She over here texting her, but but that's my baby. I'm telling you, she you talking about somebody that got my back, Candy. Tashawn do not play. She do not play. I'm telling you.
I mean, Conti, you can do whatever you want. I would say that's a turn off. Like if you go out to really date somebody and you let that slip, that's a no.
Well, what you just told Conti, to be honest, because of the way I used to do things, she would have to know. I mean, I don't have to, but she would have to know, because I'm the type of person, I deal with a lot of women anyway. So the whole thing is you gotta trust me. You gotta trust me because I don't need you to sit back and say, well, where you at? Why you taking so long? I don't want to go through none of that. I don't want to go through that. And I said I would really have to let them know, well, whoever come in my life, she would have to know my past history because she pissed me off. I might decide to run again. Y'all ain't say nothing about that, did you?
Mm-mm.
Because I had to ask myself, Steve, why every time you get married, you cheat? I had to ask myself, what is wrong with you? Now I haven't been in a relationship for the past 7 years, Canty, and I haven't cheated on myself yet.
Wow.
You see a lot of that on TikTok. You see a lot of that now with their husbands or their wives are getting up on what is that? Oh goodness.
On TikTok now?
Yeah. No.
I'm laughing at Tashawn. I'm sorry, y'all. She heard what I said and she said, "Shut the hell up." I'm laughing at Tashawn.
I'm trying to think of it.
What?
Tinder. Getting up on Tinder and grind.
Yeah, they try to do 3 ways too.
Yeah, it's like like over here.
Why?
Over here.
I can spot them. I see them at Jules too.
Over here on TikTok, it's a lot of stuff that I hear over here that when I'm dealing with people in general, I don't hear this. I don't know, probably do, but never really paid a lot of attention to it. But it's a lot of the stuff I hear right here. It sounds real sickening to me. It sounds real sickening.
It is. It is because it's so sad. Why can't, people be honest anymore?
Because it's not fun.
Nope.
Columbus and a lot of Africans, and they don't care if you got 5, 10 wives. That's right.
Yeah, and I told you about he was African. He stalked me and everything. Like, I'm telling you. And I'm like, does his wife know? Like, she has to. And I'm like, I do not want to get in I'm in the basement situation. I'm good. No.
It was a girl that back in the days that I wanted. I was in my 30s, matter of fact. That I wanted. One, I was scared to mess with because when I first met her, she said she was a virgin, so I was scared. But because I was a player, and I didn't want to hurt her. But as she got broken in and everything, I went chasing behind her, Conti, and anything she wanted, I made sure I was getting it for Conti. She got to the point she played with that yang. So I ended up messing with her sister.
Ooh. Whoa. Wait. What is a yang yang?
The wanky wank. Look, the wanky wank. Well, I ended up messing with her sister, and but I was still trying to go after her, and the sister really liked it because I'm a good man, so she wanted me to take care of her, but I didn't desire her like that, so I went after her other sister too, and some kind of way they found out that I slept with both of them.
It's kind of like they're the family, right?
Well, be honest with you, they were sisters, but they was distance. They wasn't real close. So it was like one was here, one was there, one was here. So they didn't, really deal with each other in that sense to talk about certain things. But the other sister that I end up messing with, that was the one when she was younger at the time. She was like 14. Like I said, I was a little bit younger, but she was 14, and my hair shape up was like back here. And she told me one day she teased me and said, "That's why your shape up all the way back there." And I wanted to kick her up her butt. So
you know what? I can say this when I was like 16 and I had a crush on my friend, her boyfriend's cousin. Because back in the day, I thought he was really cute and everything. And at the time, I was 16, 17 years old, and my parents are like, no, you're not messing with no 20-year-old, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, well, one day maybe things will change. It did, but then it wasn't all what I expected to be. So I just let it go.
Right.
And you see how I talk with y'all on here? I don't talk like this with Lil Steve. But he's older now, but I never want him to think it was okay to do what I did. My first marriage, when I started stepping out, I got one side piece on the side, and I went and found another side piece. And my first side piece told me, she said, I'll be damned. She said, I don't mind being the first, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna be, I think she said something like number 3, right?
Wow.
But now keep in mind, y'all know I'm a recovering addict. So when I say that, smacks is an addiction for me too. So now, and Conti, I don't know how old you is, but I'm gonna say this, and I know you might remember. Like, what's his name when he went through a lot? The golf player.
Tiger Woods.
Yep, I knew what it was. It was an addiction. He had to sign himself away, and it was a couple of our athletes that I knew anytime they had that smacks addiction. I knew it was a lot of personal stuff that was going on inside too. So with a lot of them, when R. Kelly did his thing, I knew it was something deep going on inside, something that had happened for him to behave the way he was doing from childhood on up. Because once you start doing work on yourself and you realize certain things, and mainly with the men, because the men is normally who I'd sit and I talk with and I work with to get them to open up and be honest and true about themselves. That's why when I open up my mouth, my goal is with some women, you don't have to speak for a man. You're not a man. But now, not to throw, I'm a share myself with you, and I'm going to share the stuff that I did to get better at not practicing certain behaviors again. But I need you to listen, because I might be describing a certain person I just don't need you to go back to him and say, yeah, this guy on TikTok. He's sitting up there and remind me so much of you. See, I'm sick of that. Like,
look, I'm gonna tell you right now, back in the day, we knew R. Kelly was like that.
Stop!
We knew that.
Stop!
I'm just saying. I don't mean to throw names.
No, but I got you, because you know what you made me think about when you said that, Conti. I was singing this song one day. You remind me of my G. And this lady said, you nasty mother. I'm like, what? I didn't know. I didn't know most of his songs was around that. And until later. Because I'm gonna tell you, Conti, look, one lady told me, she said, you look just like R. Kelly.
What? No, you don't. What?
Back in the days.
Content there with the hip hop.
Back in the days. It was this lady, because now mind you, between my 30s and my 40s, I ran after women younger females. Right? Once because I used to wear baggy clothes, the hip hop stuff was out. I didn't know what it was. I was just wearing big baggy clothes. I stayed 29 until I turned 40. when I turned 40, I realized, Steve, you getting old. It's okay. But I'm gonna tell you, that was adjustment for me because you could not tell me I wasn't 29, and I never looked at my age. I never looked it. So a lot of men, a friend of mine's, right? He was like tall, playboy, and I was playboy number one. He was playboy 1.5. But anyway, I was a little bit older, and whoever wanted him, if he wouldn't play with them, I went for him. I said, well, you sleep with me, I get him to talk with you.
Oh man, yeah, you need to put your head down. What the hell did you just say? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Conti, let me say this. That's been almost 24 years ago. You know, I forgot. Conti, I was a hoe, Conti. Lord. And see, now I can laugh about it because, you know, you put the work in not to continue being like that. But now, when I hear, and I'm not going to lie, when I be hearing a lot of our young men, Conti, between 30 and 40, and they bragging on that winky, I can just about tell you how old they are. Because I remember them days. I remember back in them days, you know, getting them notches under your belt and stuff like that, your belt buckle, bull junk, we used to say. I could not. And I'm going to tell y'all, man, when as little Steve began to get older, I did not want to share certain things because I didn't realize it, right? And these words right here, I know common sense. I don't know how old you are, Conti, but you remember R. Kelly. I know you're a little bit old. But I didn't know what. Look.
What you got to say, Conti?
Wait a minute, Conti. Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm finished speaking. I'll tell you.
Whoremonger. Right? Papa was a Rolling Stone. I learned some bad information from older people, like my uncle and them. It's a poor rat that had one hole to run in and out of. I watched my uncle come home because he did construction, and he would give my aunt all these $100 bills, blew me away, because the way I was taught, you make sure you take care of home. You make sure you take care of home first, then you have a woman over here, and over there. And my uncle said we was in a room. He said, how many women you think can fit in this room? I said about 40. Now, mind you, I was young. And he said, I done had over that many. So you know I had to outdo him. I wouldn't tell my son no bull crap like that. Come on, Conti.
Like that on that level, but what I'm trying to say is that you don't never stop growing up, man. We in our 50s, bro. I'm guessing you in your 50s too. We don't never stop growing up, man. It don't stop. I'm telling everybody in this room, man, you ain't gonna stop learning. It ain't gonna happen.
Well, be honest, Conti, I'll be 64 February the 20th. Now, I'm gonna say this. I thought you knew. But look, I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of the stuff I used to do, it just don't feel right no more. It just don't. I'm surprised because I was looking at myself the other day, right? I haven't slept around in 7 years now. And I in a sense, I can't believe it, right? Because it's not like I planned it. It was this young lady I was talking to, but she went to Philly to get clean. And I said, how long you been gone? At that time, she said 2.5 years. I said, God dang it, I ain't had none since then. So she been gone now probably about 7. But anyway, it wasn't like I planned it. It was just a day at a time, accumulated. And then my whole goal during that time was to focus more on my business, most of all my children, because I had left their mother and I didn't want them to feel like I abandoned them. Excuse me, y'all, excuse me. So I had to make sure we was tight. And my youngest daughter, she's 25 now, she was 23. And we was riding together and she said, Dad, she said, it's okay to go find your girlfriend. She said, we grown now. And I looked over at her, right? She told me it's all right to go find me a girlfriend, but she told me to make sure she not young. And I said, all right, Sienna, I'll make sure she like 40%. That meant 40 years old. Because my oldest is 37. She'll be 37. And it's not to mess with nobody younger than that. But anyway, that made me feel real good because they knew at this time my main purpose was them. And now it's like all of them got boyfriends. My son got a girlfriend. I got a pillow. And sometimes I get lonely. Tashawn, you gonna take me out to dinner? You over here texting. No, but I was sitting up here looking at it, Conti, the other day, and I'm like, I can't believe this. And I'm talking about for a person that never, been without a significant other. And I ain't talking about a wife. I'm talking about that partner. And that shocked me, family. Sometimes I can't believe it, but it's a day at a time. So it don't seem like it, but I'm proud of myself because for the longest time, I sold myself short. And this is part of going back to, and I'm going to say this because common sense just came up. Lust, right? Normally when you first meet somebody, it's an attraction there, right? And that could be that lust. Now, as time go on, and I said this the other day, when all of us was up here, and common sense, I think you was up here too. It's like the 3-month period, right? When you meet the representative, when you meet that person, right? The representative, y'all dating, y'all hanging, y'all doing this and that is normally that lust thing where you ain't in love with them. Real simple, you ain't in love with them. But it's normally the lust, the attraction. And then later down the line, I said when that other person showed up, it's like, oh my God, I had to let him go. But it's normally lust. Lust was started out first, and I think or the attraction. And I think as we go further into it, it is step into that other area that you might want to make something different out of this because now your true feelings are getting carried away. And that's what made me just think about that common sense when you came up. Because it was times where I really thought I was falling in love with somebody, but it wasn't that. It was just the lusting. I was lusting. I found them desirable. Then it got to the point where it's like, when I seen a certain side of them, I'm like, no, I can't. No. So y'all really reading that little comment or the stuff that you put up made me look at it because lust and love, if you don't really understand the definition or the meaning between the two, you can get it mixed up. You can. And some people stay in lust for years.
People be like, oh, I'm in love, but really they're in lust. Like, it's just, they're just focused on sleeping with somebody or they're focused on being in a fairy tale. But they're not looking at love needs trust, commitment, and consistency.
I love that word, fairy tale. Come on, common sense.
I was just waiting on y'all and everything.
Nah.
So, like I said, in this, love is different than lust, okay? And the one thing that I'm going to say is this. You cannot base your relationship on any other person's relationship. You can take clues, but you can't base it on what you see from another couple or individuals, because what you could see could be just guys playing.
Right.
They may not even like each other, okay? In the real sense, they doing it for the cameras, they doing it for the clout, they doing it for a bag, right? and everything. And people have to start to be honest or truthful about why they got with a person. And lust is like, lust probably is like the number one reason, okay? Then, financial, okay? And I see on this platform, there's such this demand for performance from both male and female, but nobody's talking about capacity.
Right.
And I'm gonna just say this, because it's not about the next person, it's really about you. Do you have the capacity to love another individual right now with your state of mind, with your state of being? Or is what you consider love, lust, in a survival sense? Because sometimes people be lusting for people, but it's also survival. Because that person may have a house, a car. They got life going on. Where another person may not have life going on. They may be in a struggle. So they use their sexual, right. They use their sexual parts to obtain goods and shelter. And nobody wants, I'm going to say this, they got a thing that they call in social services. This was coined way back when, and then I think 2 or 3 years ago, social media recycled it. But if you worked in social services at any time in the early 2000s, we used to call it homosexual. And they were saying it for the men, but we also applied it to the women also. Yeah. And I'm going to say this, there's probably more homosexual women than they are men out here. Because, I'm going to just say this. Nobody ever speaks about, they'll talk about men want women being submissive, but nobody ever talks about the woman who deliberately has a child by a man for her own economic reasons.
Yeah, they get some food stamps, they get that WIC, yeah.
I'm telling you, I've seen, and I always say I feel so sorry for the child, because that child was not birthed in love. And I'm gonna just say this: you can always tell when an individual was not birthed in love. They have a total different disposition in life.
It's because they were birthed in survival.
Survival, lust, it was everything but love. I'm going to say this, and this is no knock on anybody, but think about all of the children that were born during the crack epidemic, the children that was born because mama or daddy needed to hit on the pipe. Think about all of the children that are being born currently through the fentanyl epidemic, the heroin epidemic. And love is a God gift to all humanity, but when you misuse it, you'll never win. You'll never win. Love is supposed to be, man, us coming together, number one, working together consistently, having respect for one another. And when that bond comes, no man can separate you from one another, because you have went into covenant not only with yourself, but also with God. And then you're fulfilling God's ultimate commandment. He said, "Go forth and multiply." That means to make another new you, another new Adam, or another new Eve, God's creation. So I think I have to say it in this. A lot of people done got tricked by the devil. And a lot of people having sex with the devil or with his demons to make them defiled. Because think about this. If your mind is so twisted and conditioned that you would harm a child, we have to think about that. You talked about R. Kelly. Wasn't R. Kelly a victim that grew up to create victims?
That's what I was talking about. Cause I kind of knew it once everything came to light as far as what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I knew it was something deep down inside.
He was. I'm gonna just say this. He was a functional illiterate.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And that messes with most people don't realize that everything in life has a spiritual component. And so when you take what God meant for his glory and you twist it and you bangle it up and you harm God's children, there's a price to pay. And I always say this is one of God's principles. You will reap what you sow. Right. And love is a great thing. I'm going to just say this. Every human being deserves to be loved right. Every human being needs to be loved right. And you know how that love begins? It begins with you loving you right.
Right. Let me
because we teach.
Go back to something you were saying, right? And this is why I'm trying to think is the word animate. By me growing up without a father, right? And everything you said, common sense. By me growing up without a father, right? Now, my mother was there. So that biological bond with my mother is there. But the one with my father is not. So when you were saying, I'm gonna say the epidemic stuff like that, and babies made out of, now that biological bond is what I realized I was missing, that other half, to make me feel whole and complete. And I'm only saying this because this is why I come for the men the way that I do. Because the kids is with the mother, but that other half is missing, and that's you that makes it complete. Now, they will talk about any and everything else, but they don't realize that spiritual bond, that biological side of that dad and mother is what completes that child. So when I talk with men, and I talk with women too, to let them know, don't use your child, whatever you and the guy might be going through, don't use your child out of anger against that father. Because even at 60-something years old, to this day, it still hurts that my father is not here. I just learned to live with it, most of all relying on God. But it's still a void from time to time. And I have to rely on the Holy Spirit to comfort me. But when it mainly comes to our guys, and I'm sitting down with them to talk with them, to help them understand how important it is to be in their lives. And the reason why I say this, I look at my son and I look at my daughters, and it's nothing like holding them, hugging them, telling them I love them. But most of all, when I got them, I squeeze them because they need to feel it. It's not as much as what I say. They need to feel it, you know. And that's what I started realizing. And that's why when it comes to, I'm gonna say, our lost generation of children, like what Common Sense was saying, I know how important it is for that father and that mother. Y'all might not live together, y'all might not get along together, but for the sake of the kids, for the sake of the children, because you completes them. That's that head for that father, that's that head for that mother, which makes them that whole. And I can only say that because I feel from time to time that emptiness in me. I feel it, that void. And that's why for me, Norm, somebody told me a long time ago, they said God will fill that emptiness. God will fill that void like that lost parent. I didn't believe it. I could not believe it. But as I begin to grow in the spirit, I begin to understand whenever I find myself, and my mother left me at 26, whenever, sometimes I'll find myself, Mom, why you leave me? Where I have to rely on the Holy Spirit to fill that place, to fill that void. That's why I do what I do here when it comes to our men, and then working with the women. I understand when that man is not there to help the woman, you know, raise the children by herself. She's there to raise them without him. I know how important it is, you know, for that mother to keep that house together. That's why I do what I do when it comes to the women and the children, you know. And when it comes to the men, Common Sense must have had an emergency call. When it comes to the men, I don't care where you at. From time to time, if you don't have no money, my thing is get your kids, take them for a walk, hang out with them. You know, some people talk about the finances. Yeah, the finances, if you got it, you got it. But the point is, be a part of their lives because you want to fill that little gap. So watch when people talk, you will never, because they might say the mother keeping the baby away from you or the father, whatever, how they go, but you'll never hear nobody talk about that biological connection. They'll never talk about it because they don't understand how important it is. But I can say it because of the void. Even to this day, if I watch children 9, 10 years old talk about how their father might live 3 blocks down the street and won't come and say nothing to them, I will start crying like that little kid. And I'm grown because I understand they only want that love. They want that attention. They want that affection. And that's why both of my wives, when I left my first wife, my oldest daughter was 8. No matter what, I had to make sure I stayed in her life because the physical part of me wasn't there no more, the body in the house. And I didn't want her to feel abandoned. You get me? But either way, like I realized I couldn't feel that part, but I had to make sure no matter what, I was a part of her life. The same things with little Steve and Sienna. The same things with Tashir. I raised Tashir 2 years before little Steve and Sienna came along. I don't care what nobody say to me. That's my goddamn daughter. And me and her is closer than my oldest daughter and my youngest. It's like me and her, we talk a little bit about any and everything. But I'm just proud of it because, you know, I watched what she went through with her mother, but still, that's why we can talk a lot about some of the same stuff. But anyway, that you can't, please, you can't tell me that ain't my daughter. You cannot tell me. But I realized on top of that, no matter what, I could not feel that biological bond. I can come in, play daddy all I want, but I'm not that biological side. And it hit me one day. And if she ever decided to get married, I know 9 times out of 10, she would want me to walk her. But to be honest with you, I'll let her father do it. Somebody said, y'all both can walk. I said, I know, but I'd rather let him do it. Because no matter what, that's her fault. And it's not to take that away. I know who I am. I'm daddy number one, he daddy number two. He probably like, look, I said that. I could hear him now. Stop that shit, Steve. Stop that shit. But no, seriously though, that's something that I try to help people understand too. When you get into a relationship with somebody or y'all make that commitment and they got children outside of that relationship, that's a family. That's a family. Even if a guy get into a relationship with a woman and she got a certain amount of daddies, it's still a family. Because no matter what, you don't want that father unless it's some unhealthy stuff going on, like maybe physical abuse or somewhere along the line that they do not need to be around, even the children. I got that. But other than that, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. You don't want to sit up there and get to that point. You know he got a baby mama here, baby mama there. You knew that before y'all got together. So you thought he wasn't going to be a part of their lives, just you and your kids or the kids y'all got together. Please. Please. And then here come the mama drama or the baby drama, mama, whatever, the daddy and the mama drama. I be trying to tell people, cut that bull crap out. Because number one, if you knew she had children, baby fathers before y'all got together, if you knew he had baby mothers before y'all got together, that's something that you have to learn to get along with. You know, it's a family. It's a combined family. And it's selfish and self-centered when you feel like you don't need to be a part of this and a part of that. That's selfish. They was always, my stepdaughter's fathers was always welcome. Like during the holidays or cookouts and get-togethers, stuff like that for them, graduation or whatever. They was always welcome. You just make sure you don't come without me knowing. You better you just don't pop up. But they was all that too. But they was welcome. And right now to this day, certain things I might not like over here, but it is what it is. And sometimes I pick with my kids. I be like, how y'all stepfather doing? They be like, Dad, cut that out. I don't know why y'all got a problem with it. But yeah.
I have a question. What do you think about like the biological father? Let's say you're dating a woman and he comes over and he does like house chores, but you don't know that he's doing that and you kind of catch it. Would you say that's disrespectful as you as the new partner?
No. I mean, if is that the agreement? Wait a minute. Is that
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Steve.
Is that an agreement that him and her made as far as him coming over doing house chores?
Yeah, but you don't know about it. It's kind of like, oh, like who cut the grass this morning? And then you realize, like, oh, like, are you having somebody come over here? She's like, yeah, my baby daddy, but she never told you that.
Oh no, that's a little twist.
Yeah.
I mean,
because that's when I'm like, there has to be boundaries. Like you just can't, cause you know, old things can stir back up, and it's like you're keeping it a secret. If I'm your partner, why would you do that? That's kind of weird. You know, you guys have a child together, so I already know like my ranking could like slide down because y'all already made a new life together.
Shoot. You got me sitting up here thinking I wish he would have came over and cut the grass and trimmed the edges and all that type of stuff. I was tired. No. That's something like that. That would actually be a big no. You know, not me knowing. Now the difference with that too, and I gotta clear that up, because I'm looking at the wife, right? If we married. You know, but still certain boundaries you don't step across. You just don't.
I would say even if you're dating, because if you're dating, you should, if you dating to get married or you're trying to be in a long-term relationship, you should let that person know, oh, hey, like he comes over, like there's nothing going on between us, and then they can make the decision if they want to move forward. Because if I catch it, then it makes it seem like you're hiding something.
Right.
And the lady was like, oh, like he's so insecure because he was like, why is he doing that? Like, he was asking questions and asking her to stop. And I said, is that insecurity or is that boundaries and protection for his heart?
Norman
But
said,
I feel like people,
Norman
yeah,
said he would have a problem with it.
right, right.
That's something that basically her and I would have to talk about, you know.
Right.
But one thing, when I was married, even though I was always accused of stepping out, I was always accused, and I finally did it. But no matter what, I trusted that she was doing the right things. And I would tell her, because she was in her head so much, that just trust and believe that I was doing the right things to have peace in your head during this time. Because number one, I ain't want you to make my life miserable because of your insecurities.
Mhm.
But excuse me, but people told me that she probably was cheating and all this type of stuff. But be honest with you, if she was, it didn't matter to me, because I was always the one that would step outside of. I was the cheater. Now, if they did do certain things here and there, they did, but that wasn't something I worried about. That wasn't, you know, I wasn't worried about what was going on, where was you at, who was you with, all this type of stuff. And I'm quite sure when her and her oldest daughter father went to Virginia when she was in college, I'm quite sure it was a lot of hotels on the road that popped in my head one time, and it was like, don't do it, Steve, because I didn't want to go in my head and ruin my time wondering, is this, that, or blah blah blah. It was like, no. But hey, and even to this day, when I think about certain things, it might have, but that wasn't my problem, because I felt like this. Anytime I stepped outside my marriage, it was that shame and guilt I had to deal with. It wasn't her.
Right.
It wasn't her. It was me. And I had to get peace back in my life with God. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't even give a heck if she had forgave me or not. But like I told her, I said, if you want to go, you can go. Because I'll be darned if you're going to stay here and beat me up for the stuff I done. I did it. And gave her the opportunity to leave. And she didn't have to leave. I left. Because I was not going to stay around for somebody to beat me up, remind me later down the line. Remember when you did this in 1869? Huh? No, you won't. Hugh. Oh, no, you won't.
It disconnected me for some reason.
Oh, I don't know. I was wondering what happened. But you gotta be real. You gotta be real with yourself. You gotta be real with yourself. And I realized during that time, and that's why I try to help people understand, whenever you fall short in your life, you gotta learn to find peace back with yourself. Because there's a good chance, like if you married or something and you do something crazy outside of that, there's a good chance they'll never forgive you. But you better learn to forgive yourself and make sure yourself is right with Christ. Because I'm telling you, that was more important to me than anything else, getting myself right back with God. Because I went against my my vows and my commitment, and I understood this time a lot better than I did the first time. So I just felt like I failed God, and I need.
And I was just.
Come on.
I was gonna say, like, on TikTok, people use the word projection and insecure a lot, and I feel like we don't know what these words mean. Because if your partner or somebody you're even dating, let's say you go on a couple dates, if you want something serious, you should tell them. Like, nobody should have to walk in and realize, like, oh, he's still around, because you're putting his life in danger, and he doesn't know what type of guy that is. And it goes for a woman, too. And the lady, she was like, well, he's a part of my village. And I'm like, you know, a village basically means your family, and I don't think you sleep with your family members. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not really a part of your village. He has his own village, you know? So, yeah, what do you think about that?
Now, You gotta explain that a little better, because when you said she said village, she was talking about somebody. Explain it.
Her baby daddy.
It's part
You
of the
say her
village.
baby daddy, and yeah, so that's why he can come over unannounced.
Oh, heck to the no.
Yeah.
Now, well,
And then I refuted her. She said I was projecting. I was like, okay.
projecting my foot. Number one, point blank. Whenever say like the daughter, well, any one of them graduated from school, right? 6th grade, whatever. And their father wanted to come. The father was welcome to come. Like, we had a celebration for him. They was welcome to come. And I would tell my wife, you know, at that time that if what's your name want to come, they can come. You know, stuff like that, right? Because I never wanted to keep them away from their fathers. They had all the opportunity in the world to better connect with them. That was something that I never tried to interfere with. But now, right now to this day, my oldest daughter, even though her mother and her father is together, they don't have a great relationship. His daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, he don't have none. Norm, you better not say nothing smart. I just thought about we all know each other. But look, he don't have a healthy relationship with none of his goddamn children. Except for Brittany and Carlos. Now, I know he got a good relationship with them because we used to get them when they was younger too. But all of them grown now with children. But as far as his other kids, but you know, that's something that they got to work on because they all grown now. But the 26-year-old, her father and her, they starting to connect a little bit more with the grandbaby and everything. Shut up, Norm, with the grandbaby and everything, right? But I think it's great. I mean, for them, because they wasn't really a part of their life. So what little connection they had, you know, is great. You know, sometimes I look at my old tail and I be like, Dad, where you at? Where you at? But some people don't realize, and I'm talking about us as adults. If you grew up and you didn't have a healthy relationship with your father, in some cases, not all, or your mother, you know, because it's a lot of guys that talk bad about their mothers for whatever reason, you know, and mainly you might hear the woman talk bad about not having that healthy relationship with her father. Now, if I ever heard my daughters talk like that, I'd be like, yeah, all right. Because I know that's one thing. There's one thing they cannot say, that their father wasn't in their life. And one day, my daughter said it. My oldest daughter said it. And I told her, both of them said it, matter of fact. I said, well, y'all need to go find out who your father is and come back and let me know. Be telling me no bull junk like that. Because look, I know how I feel not to have your father in my life, my father in my life. I was like, what? I remember when you first started your period, I was changing your pampers, your what? Daddy daughter dances. I'm like, what? You go find out who your father is, and then you come back and tell me.
Yeah,
Bye. Bye.
We have to go Jerry Springer.
But look, by this time they was grown, right? And I said, oh, they going through some women's stuff. They must be going through menopause now. My 2-year-old granddaughter, I'll be like, hey, baby. She look at me like, yeah, whatever. You must be going through menopause. I'll be like, I ain't trying to figure it out. Whatever is going on is you. But you know I love you.
I think they called them the terrible twos.
Right. That's what I said. I sent somebody sent a message about something, right? And I said, yeah, the terrible twos, right? I said that about my granddaughter Norm. I said the terrible twos, but I think it's called the menopause as well. Because I was thinking about 3,000.
Right.
I'm like,
But yeah, I just think because the lady proceeded to say, see, this is what's wrong with the Black community. Because I like we were contradicting, or we weren't contradicting, but we were trying to tell her like, hey, that can be confusing for your child to have like all these different father figures around and people you're dating, and then the baby daddy. You know, did she hit us with the Black community part? And so overall, I think you need boundaries in any relationship, and that kind of plays a part with love and lust. Because if somebody violates your boundaries and they're not listening to you, they have other partners or ex-partners around, then you can assume they're operating in lust when it comes to you, because they're not taking you for real.
I'm gonna tell you, I had somebody sent me an invite, and I went over to their platform. Before I could open up my mouth, right? Now I made a statement about something about it was more about the men. It was about men. But somebody thought I was making a negative statement. And I said, no, that's not what I was saying. If you had let me finish, I would have made it clear, okay? I work with men, but it was a woman that kept running off of the mouth. And I had to catch myself, right? And I said, I don't think I'm going to be up here too long. But it was more about they wanted to hear about men, certain things, but they wanted a male's point of view, right? A perspective. And I'm the type of person you don't want to play with when you ask questions like that, because my thing is shut up and listen. Stop trying to figure your man out. You're not a man. And until you can grow a set of wangs, I'm talking about balls, and then you come talk to me, right? But I stopped doing that a long time ago. I'm not a woman, so I can't really speak for a woman. I can only speak from my perspective of how I dealt with, I'm gonna say my wives, basically like that, right? But as far as trying to speak for them and understanding where they really at with certain things, no. And this is something that I always try to tell women, that you know your body better than a man. Sometimes you have to teach him certain things about you. Don't expect for him to guess, right? And a lot of this goes to the romancing and all of that. Y'all want them to try to figure out what turns you on, what turns you off, and some of the things that they do might just not turn you on, but they stuck in their ways. But you might have to teach him, and that's what I would tell you. That's why when we have conversations, when you first meeting somebody, you're communicating, you're talking over the phone. They don't do that over on TikTok. They meet you on the bus stop. They go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner right then and there, right? And I don't know all about that, but one, I always say it starts with communication. I don't hear people say that. You vet that person before. Once you call each other, y'all talk about certain things. You start learning a little bit about their likes, their dislikes. I don't know what type of conversations people have today, but that's what you normally do. Because number one, if I'm gonna take you to dinner, I would like to know what you like, so that way I won't take you somewhere that you might be allergic to their food or whatever, like seafood or whatever. I know not to, because I like seafood. So I know not to take you certain places. You might be a vegetarian. So I might have to look up a spot where they serve mostly vegetarian foods. You know what I mean? But the goal is, if I take you to dinner and I'm talking with you and we talking first, I'm feeling you out. So I want to take you somewhere beautiful anyway, because that's like that first impression anyway. But still, it's not like I'm gonna take you into the hood as we begin to, hang out more. No, I'm gonna take you to beautiful places. That's just where I'm at. But anyway, when I hear some of the TikTok conversations, they be talking more on the McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's level, right? And you can only order from the dollar menu, right? And I don't even think they have the dollar menu anymore. And a lot of women settle for that type of stuff. 50-50. What is 50-50? What is 50-50? One, if we talking, right, on the phone, I'm getting to know a little bit about you. And you're going to know this too. Because I'm going to ask certain little questions. When we do go out, it might not be we going to a hotel right after that. That's these little type of conversations you talk just to see where each other's at. You know, because number one, if you make it too easy for me, I might not like you. We might not even go to dinner. You know, right. So when I hear some of the conversations on TikTok, I be like, I don't know what planet y'all done came from. I don't know if Elon Musk own this right here and y'all on Mars, Jupiter, or Pluto or something, because I don't know. And it's like the younger they are, I'm lost. And I got children myself. Little Steve called me one day to ask me, can he get $40 to get his hair cut? Because he trying to save some of his money so he can take his girl out for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, you know what? That's almost a month away. And you going to call me now and ask me, boy, but look, he working and everything. I said, this boy cannot stop asking me for money. Where's your goddamn going? I said, all right, because I know he going to give it back, right? He wanted it for something else. But anyway, this is the conversation I had with my children, and my daughter just turned 25. She went to Puerto Rico somewhere, right? She goes out of town all the time. I don't know how she do it. She even went with her boyfriend to Las Vegas, and then before that, she went with her mother on her birthday. I'm like, but look, I'm just saying this, right? Because people on here gets me because y'all act like y'all don't know what it's like to date and truly enjoy yourself. And then y'all talking about 50-50, this bull crap. Oh, that's kind of new to me.
Well, 50, I think 50-50 to me, like, you know how there were housewives? You know, if you didn't have a housewife and you had kids and things of that nature, the wife cooks and cleans, provides emotional support. You would probably have to hire somebody. So to me, it's not necessarily monetary value. I would call that 50-50. If she's taking care of the kids, because if you didn't have her, you would have a nanny or you would have to do it, and that could mess up what you got going on at work. So that's kind of how I see it. I think we've always been 50-50. I'm not necessarily talking about the money of it.
I got to do this again. I sit back and I look at my life. I drove the tractor trailer. Little Steve played soccer. My daughters was into modern dance, tap dance, and all of this. My wife worked, 8 to 4. She would take them where they needed to go after work. It was times where I had to take off. Take them to doctor's appointments, take them to rehearsal. I had to do all that or get off early. And sometimes when I look back at myself, I was like, how did you have time to actually do all of this? I'm the one that did the cooking. I'm the one that did the cleaning. When I first met my wife, she was an oodle noodle girl. So we would cook in the kitchen together, right? Now she cooks her butt off. But those things we did together. When it came up to the cleaning the house and all of that, I do not play. I do not like a dirty house. And my children can tell you that themselves. I didn't play none of that. But the only reason why I'm saying that, right, because unless you have a woman that doesn't have a male, right, in the household, and she has to provide all those things for herself, that's kind of different. But when you are a family, it's about balance.
Exactly.
It's about balance. And I don't hear people say that. And it's sad when I hear a lot of the women on here making it seem like, and you must not have a man.
Yeah.
You must not have a
Yeah,
man.
I don't get it either.
You know, you must not. Because number one, like I said, my mother taught me since I was a kid, men take their responsibilities. I was cooking and cleaning at 10 years old. Cooking, cleaning, sewing, all of that. And I asked my mother, I said, "Ma, why did you put all this responsibilities on me? Because I was so young." And she said, "Just in case the stuff that she taught me, you won't meet a woman that will take care of you." And I share that with some of the women that be on here talking about there ain't no good man out there, they ain't this, they ain't that, and it flies right over their heads.
It's because, and I just want to jump in here, it's because they're only looking at the money. They don't look at his character, morals, values, if he has integrity, if he has transparency, or if he's honest. They just look at literally how much he makes. And I'm not understanding that at all. That's why when I hear 50-50, they're just talking about the money aspect, but they're not talking about the other characteristics of their partner. And it's like, it just sounds like modern day, I don't know who to say it on here, but the P word. Like, they're just giving themselves out.
Constitution.
I don't
know who can say it on here. That's fucking
Yeah.
right.
I don't
Yeah, 50-50. I'm going to just say this. I think the whole thing about 50-50, I think it was, we have to be careful because there's agendas. There are hidden hands that push certain agendas to keep people separated, arguing, and everything. And the one thing that I would say is, in this society, there's a disease that's running rapid. It's called ignorance. And when you know, once again, you got two people coming together. They're going to share a household, right?
Right.
And you're, you know, maybe I'm good in finance. Maybe they good at cooking. We gonna trade stuff off, but you wanna run your house decent in the order. You know, I like a clean house. I don't need nobody that don't like to be clean, tidy, and neat. That would drive me crazy. But the thing of it is, like you said, they just be focusing on one thing, the money aspect of it. But if you don't have these honest conversations, you know, about, you know, how you gonna raise your kids, you know, who, you know, if the man is going out there to work every day, right?
Right.
And he's bringing more than enough to take care of the whole household, got the benefits covered and everything, right?
Right.
And the only thing he asks that you keep the house clean and cook dinner, I don't see that as a problem.
Well, I think you don't want to depend too much on a man because you don't know if the relationship will last. You would hope so. Right.
I'm saying the trade-off.
Right.
You know, I understand the whole thing about dependency and everything. You know, I'm gonna just say this: when I was growing up, all my aunties, all my great aunties and stuff said, and I watched men literally bring their paychecks home to their wives, and I literally watched the wives split the money up, pay the bills. He got his portion of the money, to do whatever he wanted to do with his money, but she took care of the whole household financially. And I understand that whole dynamic and everything, but the one thing that all those women told me was, even men even told me this: always put a little bit to the side
for yourself. Yeah.
For yourself for rainy days, okay?
Right.
And men has to be smart too, because sometimes think about it, the man come home and get a paycheck away, and then he don't know where the money going. And then I just watched this couple the man makes a lot of money. Okay, he's in the oil business. But his wife spent on a monthly basis on herself. Didn't do nothing for the 3 kids. She spent anywhere between $5,000 and $7,500 on herself. Starbucks. But she didn't cook. She didn't clean. His mother started coming over to the house, and she would cook like extra meals for him and their 3 kids. And then he ended up hiring a housekeeper that came in 3 days a week to keep the house clean. And they went for marriage counseling and stuff, and this was the last resort, was to go to a financial counselor as well to show her spending habits was going to bankrupt them, right?
Why did he even let it get to that point? Like, for me and my man, we discussed finances, and he already knows. Like, he not playing with our money at all.
And she volunteered, but this the kicker. When they got married, she volunteered to be a stay-home mom, right? And she knew that he wanted home cooked. You know, this guy was Italian. They used to have home cooked meals and stuff, right?
Right.
She got way. She kind of gaslight that man, and knew, you know, well, I'm gonna anchor myself in this situation with the babies.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the craziest thing to just listen, and I was seeing the frustration on the man because she was just justifying her behavior, and he was like,
"Have a good character."
He was saying, well, I shouldn't have to get my mom and sister to go buy the clothes for the kids. You got the money already allocated. Why you not buying the kids what they need and stuff? And she just would come up with 50 million excuses why she couldn't do stuff. So in the end, at the end of the whole thing, they said update, and he had filed for divorce, custody of the kids. But you know, it's always 2 sides to a coin. It doesn't take away from the value, because a quarter is a quarter if it's up or if it's down, just like a dollar bill. But I think with social media having such a great influence, especially when it comes to the female of today, I think social media has given them a false sense of what relationship or what commitment look like when it comes to marriage, when it comes to relationship. And I'm going to just say this honestly. I think the worst thing we have did as a country, as a people, is to buy into this thing of living together without marriage. I think that's the worst thing that has ever happened to us.
Yeah. Yeah, getting pregnant is just like, man. And then they be on TikTok complaining about it. I'm just like, you know what you're doing though. Like, it's not like, and then they say like marriage is a piece of paper. Marriage has protections to it, like the legal protections. Like if you get into an accident, he can't even go in the room because y'all not married. He can't go in the hospital room. So it's just stuff like that. It just makes no sense to me. It is just all this hookup culture. I've only been with one person.
Well, this is what I was.
So it's just like I just don't get it.
This is what I was trying to.
I'm glad for you to stay that way.
This is what I was trying to tell certain people that I hear say that. And the thing is, you don't ask everybody to marry you. You don't.
Right.
And normally, when you start out, like I did, we lived together as husband and wife. And I made the decision to ask that person to marry me. Well, let me rephrase it again. we was living together in sin. And I made the decision to correct it by asking both of them to marry me during that time, to correct that sin. And you knew in your spirit or in your heart, we already living together as husband and wife, correct it. Even though it didn't work, but it was to correct that. And once again, I feel like this, when you playing that thing called boyfriend, girlfriend, you are exactly what you are. Playing house. Boyfriend, girlfriend. Two grown adults. Boyfriend, girlfriend. Childish. They don't see it like that, but it's boyfriend, girlfriend.
Thank you for just making it plain and simple for people to really understand, because I don't think a lot of people, first of all, God never put a boyfriend or a girlfriend together. He put a husband and a wife together. And I think, like I said, I think this whole, these concepts, I always say in my mind, a boyfriend is a temporary situation, and I don't want to be nobody girlfriend at my age. No.
And I said the same thing.
Remember when we was in school, Steve, and y'all used to write us little notes to say, "Would you be my girlfriend?"
Yes or no?
Yes or no? I think those are boyfriends and girlfriends as little kids, right?
I miss them days. But look, it's certain things once you mature in life, you know what I mean? Certain things just don't feel right no more. I was sitting up here thinking about Glenda, I'm gonna say your name. I'm gonna say you and oh my God, you know I'm old. Glenda and Foster. That's my oldest niece, aunt, and uncle. They've been together since I was about 10 or 11 years old. I think I know they married now, but I was thinking about them one day and I'm like, oh my God, they've been together, I know, well over 50 years, and I'm just so proud of that, right? My uncle and my aunt, I didn't know they wasn't married. They was together for over 50 years. She carried his last name, Coley. But they was together for over 50 years. And all those years, I thought they was married. I didn't find out really until he passed. But it was just that they was together. And I understand people who do that. Some get together and they stay together for long jeopardy and stuff like that. And it's amazing to me because I know the work, to be honest. I know the work that it takes to make a marriage work. And I commend people to this day, common sense. If I hear somebody say they've been married for 15, 20 years, stuff like that, I'm like, wow. And then my thing is, please just don't sit back and act like it been peaches, rose, and cream and all of that, because then that'll make somebody else think, well, what the heck did I do wrong? No, it's how you work it out. It's how you work it out. And that's what I realized, common sense. It's the work that it takes to keep it moving. I'm like, wow. That's why I said I will never, ever tell nobody to do what I did. And I gave up on mine. I gave up. And I'm going to tell y'all, that thing beated me up. I wouldn't tell nobody to do what I did. I wouldn't do it. Mainly if you made that commitment like that. But now, for whatever reason, but other than that, nah. Dante, how you feeling, bro?
She got a clientele party. I was talking to her one day. I said, don't hang with no hoes.
Oh, right. So like, I just don't, because I just don't be understanding it. I think people want the freedom of everything comes with cost, though. Like, everything has pros and cons, right? And I think there's a healthy balance, because, in the Black community, I don't know if you could say it, but the one that starts with the H is rising, especially in Black women. And I'm just like, I'm not understanding this. I'm like, what is going on? And it's just going crazy. All these diseases is just getting way worse. And I'm like, there's people who do things in cars with people they just met in the club bathroom, maybe in a room with other people in there. And it's just like, what's going on? Like, I get, like, okay, so it's fun to be freaky, but it's like, is it fun, or are you broken? Like, is there something else going on,
Well, I'm going to say this to back you up. I'm going to just say this. A lot of people are on the lust thing and not the self-love, the self-love train. And this hookup culture is the ultimate destroyer of relationships and love, and it will destroy you, because you know what? Like you said, melanated women are the number one victims of HIV.
Right.
And you can't just blame it on the men, because you gotta say this: if the man got it, unless you voluntarily open up your legs to get it, the man can't give it to you, right? Unless there's some type of forcible raping, right?
Right.
And we kept on hearing this for the past 2.5, maybe 3 to 4 years. Oh, we in the street. You even had stupid people who were in good marriages.
So I love y'all.
Up,
and I'll be reaching out to y'all, okay?
Friends
Norm,
jumped up
Sean,